Rana donji khambala dang dia jani da ja jong gong ge du di nie zong ni sta tan je fong yi pye tan bi chen er don zer bi ko dam de la chang sar jer song zar bi bi don ma lu dar yang cha brang yi don thar tung kor lo tham yi de sha nyo ton ki jer so sham ba dang na sa som ba kwa tong mi ar ji da mi ngur ton tong dang ten jong za mo ye chen ri ki chong ki ba chen ten jang khon ra yang dang pa kwa la zhe la Pagodan Gujela Marand Sichinyanji Jam Soy out to be Kambala Wandram Tani Mehon Shojan Chubai Namji Kangan Hanjua Kancho Zodan Shimi Hoyan Nirindinava Chujaridana Dana Ridana Manam Kuba Chambur Tadam Cho Kanji Trambi Dungar Kansarajan Kubi Tenala Men Josara Wanje Manga Dontana Las Sai Lama Nan Las and the Trasama Dungara Chenda Chejim Yaso Mehon Jevara Simshin dolam nirda damshana damba namji nunda sada so. Hello everyone. Welcome to Study Zhentong. Today's our subject Zhentong Nyingpo means the essence of the Zhentong. So written by Jetsun Taranatha. Jetsun means the supreme Lord or something. The G means the most high spiritual, and Sun means the most pure morality. Taranatha is Sanskrit meaning. So I try to not explain better because I don't know Sanskrit. So more Sanskrit, knowing Sanskrit ones maybe know better. But Taranatha have other Tibetan names, many other names. Called Dorui Ngombo means the main leader of the protector of all sentient beings to liberation. And also Ganga Nyingpo. Ganga Nyingpo means the essence of the happiness for everyone. So like that. So anyway, so first we talk a few words of Taranatha. So Taranatha is in 7th century, lived in 7th century, and an upper Tibet, and he is generation the family member of the Ralotawa. Ralotawa is very, very famous. Very famous, like Mahasiddha, like Indian Mahasiddha way, you know, like that's Mahasiddha means can so much have power of CDs. CDs means common cities, which means ordinary people cannot do things. And then supreme cities means can go or smoothly in a enlightened path and leading others. So like that meaning. So so he is if we say genetically, if something is very important, and think about it scientifically, is something important for genetic, then is Taranatha is that genetic. Very, very famous Ralotsawa. Ralotsawa Durjitapa. So he's the most powerful considered in Tibet. Okay, Taranatha himself, very long story written by himself. So also a unique story because the Tibetans' cultural limitation, usually the Lama's ographies is everything is fantastic. There's nothing bad. That kind of is almost non-human, no human, almost non-human story. But Taranatha, he wrote his story is he called Mapchi Lukpa. Mapchi Lukpa means without any correction. This is should say, this shouldn't say, this is high, should high, this is not high, nothing. It's just completely whatever happens, good things happen, bad things happen, everything he just tells. So very unique story. So anybody interested, probably you can find translations. I'm not sure exactly where I are now. Today I'm talking only few words, the essence of what you should know Taranatha. So Taranatha, everybody believed that he is a reincarnation of the Tripshin Nakpo Shopa. So Nakpo Shopa Sanskrit name, I don't remember. Teji Yeshimono. If yeah, you can discuss later. And anyway, that's incredible Mahasiddha, India. So everybody believes he, and when I say everybody, also, okay, again, I have to be careful, everybody. So when I say everybody, is not saying every single sentient being or every single human being, okay? But we're talking about many people knows. Many of people knows that why believed this, not only believed, confirmed, you can say, very high lamas, not just saying because they have special power, knowing past, future, that's why telling is not only the reason, but they say, just as soon as he's born, he talking like Sanskrit. And then he know a lot of Sanskrit without learned. So that's why he has translations of Sanskrit as well. That's why he's very special. Maybe some people don't believe that, but kind of evidence that Taranatha's Dharma history in India, today, everybody have to rely on that. Nobody couldn't write better than that, both Indians and Tibetans. So that kind of proof, isn't it? Yeah, is proof, is also individuals what believe is proof, you know. So, but it's like that. Anyway, so, and then the other thing is he wrote Guru Rinpoche's story. Pama Sangpa, Guru Rinpoche, Pama Sangpa's story. So Pama Sangpa have huge long stories, kind of like chanting, Pama Katang. But that in the past, everybody say fantastic. But nowadays, researchers saying, oh, that's just wrote after the 11th century. You know, so those people have pure perception. They say this is Dharma. Dharma means the treasury revealed. Pamasambhava himself taught, but later on revealed. But more skeptical ones, they talk about, oh, that's somebody made up after 11th century. Something like that. So it's a little bit debatable. But Taranatha's story now, I heard a few times that even the Yamapas agreeing Taranatha's story. Because Taranatha's Ngurul Rinpoche story, according to that, Ngurul Rinpoche is not a lotus born. It's just like a human born. But that's a long story, all of them, and well known in the past, is lotus born. Okay. So anyway, so nowadays, I think mostly people have to, if it's acceptable for everyone, then they have to rely on Taranathas. So that's also very special. So not only that, but also Taranatha has commentaries, teachings for the not only Jonang, but for the Nyama, Kagyu, Sakya, Gelug, so many teachings and so many empowerments, all of them, a lot of come from Taranatha. So that's why Taranatha is the number one famous in Tibet from Jonang. So Taranatha, everybody knows Taranatha. Okay, I say everybody again. Everybody means a lot of people. Its figure of speech is not saying every single person. Anyway, so I think the speakers always like casual way talk and less precise and so much concern way of talk, a debate way of talk, or the court case way of something very precise or not precise is, I think human beings have to understand that with the time, with the occasion, so you can't take everything literally. So that's why everybody is, it doesn't mean every single person, whole world, or whole human beings in the past, future, and present. Okay, that's too much, going too far. So anyway, so that's why is Taranatha is well known. As long as people know Taranatha, almost guarantee, almost, I have to say, almost guarantee they know Jonang, because Jonang Taranatha, usually called Jonang Taranatha. Okay, so so Taranatha is that. And then the Taranatha's very special is Tantrayana. So he talks Tantrayana extensively, more than anybody else. So that's why is everybody have to value, every tradition have to value him, take serious him. So even that's why Mongolians, even Taranatha, not allow recognize reincarnation in Tibet due to the politics, but still have to want in Mongolia, in Gaelic tradition. So like that way, so so then human beings do very strange things, funny things, you all know why, the reason behind. So yeah, so yeah, the main reason is Taranatha is everybody have to recognize as a extraordinary being. So that's the main point. So here, Taranatha talk about Zhentong Nyingpo. So Zhentong Nyingpo. Zhentong means the other emptiness, or you can say the extrinsic emptiness. Yeah, either way, there's only two different Madhyamikas. One is Rantong Madhyamika, one is Zhentong Madhyamika. Rantong or Zhentong is a Tibetan words. You can't find it in Sanskrit, you can't find it anywhere else. It's Tibetan words. Tong, also Tibetan words. So if you translate it in English, Rantong means literally if you translate it, and then self empty itself. Okay, the Madhyamika empty itself. And Zhentong means the Madhyamika talk about empty of other, not itself. So the difference is when Rantong was talking about empty itself means they're talking about both two truths. Relative truth and ultimate truth, both is empty itself. And then Zhentong was talking about empty of other means not talking about, doesn't mean is the relative truth. The ultimate truth is empty itself, but is empty of other, but it's not empty itself. Means that. Okay, then what is the empty of other? Other means empty of all relative truth or anything else other than ultimate truth itself. So means that. So, and then they have other people use the translation, the Rantong, the empty itself, they call intrinsic emptiness. And then Zhentong, the empty of other, they translate extrinsic emptiness. I don't know what the reason. Okay, you guys know who is the first language. Maybe you know that. Why and what reason behind. Anyway, so I'm only capable to talk from the Tibetan point of view, Tibetan language point of view. So in that way, is literally translated. Then is Rantong is empty itself or self-emptiness. I don't know which one better. I don't know. You choose. And Zhentong means empty of other or other emptiness, whatever. That's it. So when we talking about the name of this teaching, the essence of Zhentong means, you know, we talk about essence, not too much details. But when we go through, talk about non-Buddhist point of view and different Buddhist schools, then we're talking about Madhyamika. Madhyamika include Rantongpa and then Zhentongpa. We talk all of them. That means empty itself and empty of other. We talk all of them. Then some of you may think, oh, that sounds not the essence. Just talk about details. But means here, the details not extensively talk. But still you have to talk some of them. That's my guess. Why? Because you have nothing to compare. If you don't talk the others, then you nothing to compare. So the Zhentong, the purpose of Zhentong talk is you can compare others, so then you know that Zhentong view is superior and more correct and more indefeatable. So that you meant to be understand. Okay, some of you may not agree of that, it doesn't mean you have to agree on that. But this text, the purpose of Zhentong is, Zhentongpa is blames, not blame, sorry, claims that Zhentong is a supreme Madhyamika. And the other Madhyamikas, whatever you have categories now, all of them is ordinary. And Zhentong is extraordinary. Okay, that's the whole purpose talk about. It doesn't mean individuals have to agree on this, but the point you have to understand is that, and that's the reason. So you have to talk all of them briefly. You don't go details too much, but briefly, otherwise you can't compare. That's my guess, okay? Okay, then is I finish that the name or the Tatar explain. And then okay, then they have say omsorte. Omsorte means like auspicious, brilliant auspicious. Why brilliant auspicious? Because there takpa chembo ngitun rumi ngo nguzon fiartes means here we identify the high Vekor or the great Vekor or Mahayana. Mahayana's definitive teaching of the Madhyamika identify. So what do you mean Mahayana? Mahayana means Vajrayana and Mahayana tradition both belongs to the Mahayana. Or you can say based on Mahayana. Even Vajrayana based on Mahayana. That's why if you only make two categories, say Hinayana and Mahayana, then inside Mahayana, the Sutrayana Mahayana traditions and the Tantrayana Mahayana tradition both include. That's why saying here. Okay, so also Madhyamika view, in their point of view, they means Mahayana's point of view, Vajrayana's point of view, this Madhyamika is only for their view, not Hinayana's point of view. Hinayana is like traditional name. Traditional name means Hinayana means less vehicle, and this is great vehicle. More politically correct, you can say common Buddhism or common Dharma or common vehicle. More common vehicle, or you can say the basic vehicle, or you can say, yeah, fundamental of Dharma. Okay, but in traditionally point of view, means less vehicle. This one high vehicle, a great vehicle. So great vehicle traditional point of view, the Madhyamika is only for them, their view, not the Hinayana's view. Okay, that we're talking about. Then so if we identify that, we already identify it belong to the Mahayana. Okay, Mahayana, the Madhyamika only belong to Mahayana. Why I have to say separately Vajrayana? Because people have habit. Oh, Mahayana means Chinese Buddhism, Vietnam, Korea, or this kind of Japanese Buddhism. You know, the Vajrayana Buddhism means Himalayan Buddhism. Tibet, here, Mongolia, Bhutan, Himalayan Buddhism. But they both is Mahayana, fundamentally. The only difference is they have more emphasis on Vajrayana. That's all. Based on Mahayana, you emphasize in Vajrayana. That's the Himalaya Buddhism doing this, Tibetan Buddhism doing this. So the all Himalaya and the Bhutan and the Mongolian Buddhism is come from Tibet, not directly come from India. India transferred to Tibet and then come back to Himalaya. I mean, go to Mongolia, go to Bhutan, or like that. So Bhutan is a long time ago part of Tibet anyway. That or Himalayas or Ladakh, and all of them just a part of Tibet anyway. So at that time, so yeah. So now the middle or the doctrine itself, we call the medium of the doctrine itself. What we're going to talk about is which means we talk about what is tenets, how many tenets in ancient exist, where Buddhism originated, at that place, how many. Not talk about so much Christianity and the Muslim, Jewish, this part, Talk about what is in India at that time, Buddha time, after how many exist, that talking about. And then Madhyamika, what is Madhyamika? And then identify. And then third is Tela Zhengi Takpan Tafsalwa O. So that means debate on this. Other people say, Zhentong Ba is wrong because of this. And then how you you debate and then you defeat. So these three subjects. The whole teaching is these three subjects, okay? So the first one, Jande Mustaki Trimtan Tarvi Lam Tang Terwa in Las, around the Sangivi Trimtan Tarvi Lam Tang Derwa. So simple way of translation is Buddhist and non-Buddhist. But traditional way of translating is Jande Mustaki. Jande means others, they call others. Other, Mustaq means I don't know short way of translation. Do you know? Yeah, the non-Buddhist, they have translation in the commentary.
It doesn't say, it just says.
Oh, this is.
What do you say?
It just says non-Buddhist systems. It doesn't translate it in any particular way.
You didn't translate it.
They
Okay,
translate. Yeah.
in Tibetan called murtaq, okay? Murtaq means that something, and you rely on something unstable, okay? So that means the Buddhist claims the non-Buddhist, they are relying on unstable. So, okay, basically, okay? And then Rangde means our Sangibi startup. Now Sangiba. Rangde Sangiba. Sangiba means the follower of Buddha. Talk about their views, and then so basically saying this non-Buddhist people has no path to liberation. No path to liberation. Only Buddhist people have a path to liberation. Okay, that's a very big statement. Okay, so now we have to go talk about why, how come, okay? Then we use, okay, non-Buddhist. Okay, let's say non-Buddhist, mertakpa. They call mertakpa, okay? Mertakpa tharla make chance. Okay, if they didn't, oh, first I explain you. Liberation means is not, oh, I feel liberated, you know, or it's not talking about that small liberation. Talking about you are liberated forever. Liberated forever means you never feel any limitation whatsoever. that we're talking about. In that case, it's a little bit understandable, because if you say, okay, non-Buddhist have many good qualities, many achievements they can achieve through, but they never can achieve, never have any limitation whatsoever, that they cannot achieve. If somebody say this, then it's nobody can't say, oh, yes, they can. Guarantee. It's difficult to say that. So that's why it's a, then you have to think about the reasons and the reasonings. Then is make sense or not is up to your individual. But we just have to understand why they're saying this. Okay. So that means Murtakpala Tarla Mekyan Torigi Wumbaram Tori Chuna Yod Medrini this. Inside non-Buddhist, if we make categories, some of them, all of them doesn't have this liberation, remember? Ultimate liberation, nobody has. But do they can have high rebirth? Do they can achieve high rebirth? The answer is some can, some can't. That's the answer saying here. Gyangpin bala asokpa tawa ngamba chen limdi la kirwa ndepa soktang sewa chus ma sewa chuji xor ma namla thorigi lam namtak me chandit. So that means that there's two one is the first one who has no liberation, definitely no liberation, is called Gyangpin Ba. Do you have a name? Indian school, they have a name. Gyangpin Ba.
Is it Sankhya?
No.
The naked G?
Nekijin, no. Probably not.
It doesn't say.
Okay. Whatever. They identify one school, Gyangpin Ba. And they cannot achieve liberation because they don't believe cause and effect.
Rinpoche,
They don't. No, sorry.
They define it just as materialist and nihilist.
Yes. So that the Gyangpin Ba cannot achieve even high rebirth. Why they can't achieve high rebirth? Because they don't believe even cause and effect. So I here didn't say much about it. And if we can guess, if they didn't believe cause and effect, why not achieve even high rebirth? Because that means they don't believe the consequences of their actions, right? If that case, people do many bad things. And they don't have a morality, or they have no reason to have a morality. I mean, maybe they have morality or something, or behave better, can fit in a human being in this life. Maybe they have that, but that doesn't help high rebirth. That's the reason they say. And then the other one is Sewa Chuji Chor Marnams. There is some schools, they believe their Dharma practice is harming sentient beings. Okay? Chuji Chor means their main practice is harm sentient beings. If it's that case, of course they never achieve high rebirth. That's impossible. The reasons say this. The reasons you agree or not agree is you are individuals, up to your choice. But their making point is that, okay? Well, logically, why saying that? Because you have that, then this one, which school it is, what name of this school is, and are they exist right now? I have no idea. Okay, so anybody have capability can find out, or do you need find out? That's up to you. Okay. That they don't have that, but then Samkhya, Trangchenpa, we could Trangchenpa and Nekjen, yes, Nekjen, Him Chokur Jimdong, some follower of the supreme god, Shiva or whatever, I don't know. I didn't say, okay? Those people, they can achieve high rebirth. Okay? Taranatha saying here, they cannot never achieve ultimate liberation, but they can achieve high rebirth. Okay? And also, then who those religious can practice stabilized meditation, means they can achieve jhanas, they can achieve, these people, they can also have high rebirth. Why? Because they avoid non-virtues and practice virtues. If they do that, what happened is they can high rebirth, means human birth or desire God realms. Because human birth and the desire God realms, the main project karma is virtues. But virtues, but also dirty virtues, okay? When we're talking about dirty virtues, why we call dirty virtues? Because they don't have to realize self-emptiness, emptiness or anything. Just doing virtues, actions, you can reborn that. That's what I'm saying. But then if you have jhanas, meditative achievement, and then you can achieve four form realms and four formless realms distance. You can achieve, depending which one you achieve. Which jhana you achieve, you can reborn that one. That means there's no need to condition of bodhicitta, don't need any compassion, love, you don't need any. Okay? You just need this jhana, meditate. And you don't, of course, you don't need selflessness, emptiness, no way. You don't need it at all. Okay? So that's why he's saying. So that means maybe some people have, modern people, some people think, oh, that they are very bad. You know, Taranatha judges so badly. Think of that. But it's the main point here is not that. It's the main point is what kind of cause and conditions, what can I achieve? Okay. If you think that way, it doesn't matter who doing this, who not doing it. It doesn't matter if somebody identify I'm a Buddhist, but if they're doing less than this, non-Buddhist here category here, they're doing like that, then they're achieving nothing. Okay, but if some people say, "Oh, I'm Hindu, I'm Jains, or I'm the Samkhya, whatever," but they're doing maybe. Oh, they understand the selflessness, or they understand emptiness, they have bodhicitta, then they are not no longer in this category. Even the society, this category, they say I'm Hindu, I'm this follow, it doesn't matter. You are not that. So that's important to understand. Okay. Martak namla tharlam maybe jimsannas. So okay, now he telling why this non-Buddhist have no ultimate liberation. Why? Because he said, daganzan chief shawa, ngabdak tanzan bi alone the power mafshit pi jimsangians. Why they can never achieve the ultimate deliberation? Because the me, myself, itself, this self-conception are never considered non-existent. So never try to eliminate this concept. Okay? So he's saying that's the reason. Okay? Korwa thoma me pani gette ongi ngabdak dan zambi vlostan boyot pi status. So this one very strongly we have this because you have a beginnerless of the samsara, you have this habit. Of course, me is exist. You have very, very sensitive about myself. Okay? So that's why somebody criticizes you a little, you feel bad. If it's like in the public, somebody said very little criticize you, you are just so sensitive. Even somebody say, oh, somebody talking about you are bad, and so sensitive and so big deal. Why? Because we have huge long habit, unbelievable. That's why it's not only that, but even everything is, if you analyze, really not exist, but it's still so rare and concrete, and you know, because of the only reason Buddhism say, because that's beginnerless, you made that strong propensity, concrete. That's the only reason. So he's saying that. So then we have to understand this way. It doesn't matter you are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, you are religious or non-religious, you believe or not believe, doesn't matter as long as we never even try and loosen up, you know, like this self-cherishin and everything, then is everything harder. That's so obvious. So harder. But if you have less, even you're not eliminated, but even you have less attachment, less this concept, have a little bit, even idea is not really exist, but they just fears exist, but it's not, if you analyze it, not really exist. If even you have concept that, and if you have demand for all that, it does help us a lot. So that's obvious. We don't need it's just obvious. You can by experience, you can understand by experience. So he said, then non-Buddhist people have never have this ultimate liberation because he talking about non-Buddhist. I think we should understand it. Whoever have this self-cherishing and never even try eliminate this, or never even loosen up and try even less not doing, that's non-Buddhist. Okay, we can call non-Buddhist and have no possible achieve the ultimate liberation. But also, I think we have to understand no possible achieve liberation means it doesn't mean forever. Means as long as you have this and never try that, at the same time, impossible. Saying that. It's not saying you never change in trillions, eons, still you keep like going like this. That's not saying. So that's why I'm saying before, when I say everybody, or we say something we cannot take for literally everything. Because if you take literally everything, then you have this many problems. That's why you have to say, oh, means must be that, or means that. Okay, you have to have some, yeah, you have to be intelligent enough to, to adjust the distance, Okay, this thought. So Taranatha saying, everybody have this concrete and for long time. On the top of that, then ngabdak chapper mapotam chite yut per drip chance. So must be some of them say, of course we have self. And they try to debate on who said no self, they debate on. And they try to, how do you say, concrete that is true. He said that make worse. Why? Because everybody have sense of self. Everybody born with. We call hanchiji. Hanchiji means born innate. Innately you have that sense. On the top of this, you build up. Oh yes, of course we have self because of this. Somebody said there's no self. Oh, Buddhist said there's no self. Oh, that's not true. That's impossible. If there's no self, then you have this problem. That's impossible. And if you try to make it very strong, try to conquer it, then it's of course even more stronger. We call that trimti hajupa or kentaka, which means you conquer it on the top of what you already have innately. Okay, so he's saying that. Maybe so the same thing we can turn ourselves. Okay, we are not. We say I'm Buddhist. Oh, I am so devoted in Buddhism. Blah blah. But okay, do we doing this? If not, then we are. Oh, you better think I'm not Buddhist. I'm not Buddhist. I'm pretended Buddhist. So we can say that. We don't have to. I think. Worry about, oh, Taranatha is so judgmental, and non-Buddhists, they have never had liberation. That is so incorrect, and angry, and or resentment, or how you say, and critical, and have a doubt, and Taranatha have doubt on Taranatha. This is useless. But the more importantly, is that me? Which one is? Am I the same one or somebody else? I think identify oneself the best. Okay. So that's why he said there is no antidote for the self-concept, because you have innately you have, and then on the top of this you conquer it with your tenets, your view, like your religion, you conquer in this, right? That's why I'm saying, that's the reason say no ultimate liberation. Why? Because when you have a sense of self, and then we have bias mind. I am more important than anybody else. I mean, more important than anybody else means I'm not meaning everybody believe you are important. Not saying that. Or you're not saying I am better than anybody else. Not saying that. But if you want to die now, you protect yourself first, or you protect others. Or yeah, anything you choose first yourself, that means you're important. I'm talking about. Do you have that sense? Okay. Yeah, of course. So obvious. So many people fighting on this, and even don't need fight things you fight, because of that too extreme, the selfish. So that's why. In that way, you cannot. When you have that, then you have this attachment to oneself, and then somebody are not good for me, and you hated this, and you have resentment this, and you have everything. Everything is come from the sense of self. When I say sense of self, I think I would like to identify if you feel yourself is like God, and anybody criticizes you or anything do bad things, you don't really care. It means a tiny hair is moving. Anybody criticizes you in the public or whatever happened, you know, anybody doing bad things for you, very unfair things, but you feel don't care because you feel like God yourself. If you have a sense of self like that, that's as we're not talking about this here. That one, if you have sense of self, that I think that means you know, you feel your Buddha nature, which means that the supreme yourself, true yourself is that one. But if we feel the other self and very easily upset, very easily angry, very easily everything, that means, oh yeah, that means it's illusional self. So here saying is illusion self not exist, not saying the Buddha nature itself not exist, not saying this, okay? Misunderstand. But for Orthodox, I don't know how to explain this because, I mean, I can explain a little bit, but I cannot satisfactorily explain because both ultimate truth and relative truth, both is empty self. So, yeah. Okay, we leave there, that one. Or here saying, the sense of self is source of all afflictions. That means source of all cause and condition of all problem. That's what he's saying. So all, however, the non-Buddhist, the good ones, he said, non-Buddhist good ones, they understand the continual life, rebirth, continue rebirth. These things they understand, they say, he's saying. And also they understand the problem of, you know, born is a suffering, and then you have never free from suffering of born, suffering sick, suffering dying, all this impermanent, he said, this gross impermanent, they understand, he said. He's not saying they understand the subtle impermanent, but the non-Buddhist, he said, they understand this gross impermanent. So some of them, they understand is the life is suffering. They understand that, but it's talking about suffering, the gross level of suffering. Also, some of them, they understand that this, the 24 things, material, 24 things, the obvious ones, they are not true, really true. They understand that. And they can practice dopa chonsha chokhipa. They can practice less attachment and contentment. They can practice that, he said. So that good non-Buddhist, okay? Even they can practice the loving kindness and compassion. They can practice that. That's true, right? That's true. In the even existing religions now, we know they have that practices. Taranatha aware of that. Some of them even they practice enemy and you know the enemy and the relative or friends. They try to make equanimity. Some of them even practice that, he said. They try to avoid in this four root, which means killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, these things, like the Lama line, or all these things, even non-Buddhist good ones, they avoided. So that kind of, they have a good view and good path. These people, they can reborn high rebirth. But why they can't liberate? Because they're doing everything sense of self, based on self, the ego self. That's his saying. Okay? Then is finished, the non-Buddhist. So what time now? 8, right?
8.
Okay. Can go further a little bit, okay? So now is Buddhist tenets, okay? Buddhist tenets, you have a Buddhist tenets, the fundamental Buddhist tenets, their categories 4. Okay, 4. 4 is, one is the Sheptagamawa, Nordeva, Simsama, Gomawa. So Vibhashika, Swatantraka, Chitamata, and Majjhimika. So the Vibhashika and Swatantra and Mandoli school, the Chitamata, you can say not exist in Tibet. Maybe exist hiddenly, but nobody claim I'm Vibhashika, I'm Swatantrika, I'm Mandoli, I'm Chitamata, I'm follow Chitamata, I'm follow, Swatantrika, I'm follow Vibhashika. Nobody. But their fundamental teachings shared. Share, yes, because that's we call fundamental teachings. For instance, Vinaya or Vinaya come from Vibhashika. So that's Tibetans share. The logic system mostly from Swatantrika. Mandoli school, the Chitamata, have a lot of good contents. So that's even difficult to sometimes Majjhimika and the Mandoli school, difficult to distinguish. For instance, in China, Buddhism seems like no distinguish. Only Tibetan distinguish, but also Tibetans debate different way. Okay, we don't go detail too much. Then Majjhimika, everybody knowing, like well-known one, they call two categories they make within Majjhimika. One is what say two Majjhimikas? Sutantrika.
You have common Madhyamaka and great Madhyamaka. Are you talking about Swatantrika?
Oh no, not here.
Oh,
Also not in the text. That's okay. The commonly known they call Sutantrika and Pasangajika. They call that.
Yeah.
But Zhentongpa don't say that way, because that not Zhentongpa include. That's why Zhentongpa say. Okay, Zhentongpa say great Majjhimika and common Majjhimika, or ordinary Majjhimika, or the extraordinary Majjhimika. So that means extraordinary Majjhimika is Zhentongpa, and the common Majjhimika or the ordinary Majjhimika is both that Sutantrika and Pasangajika. Okay. So now here, Roma Odi, the first Vibhashika and Sutantrika, they both is Nyantupa, means the Nyantu means when Buddha alive, surrounded by monks, they call Nyantu. Nyantu means you listen. Nyan means listen, Buddha. And then whatever you hear, you teach others. So that means you follow Buddha. So, and that time, all the Buddha's monks, commonly people in eyes, they are Nyantus. They are all Nyantus. That means they are commonly known as no like Theravada monks. Today we have Theravada monks. They are appear like that. The real meaning, they are debatable, because that's why even Mahayana teachings, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara talking to each other. So they talk about the Mahayana teachings. But in generally, everybody's common knowing, they are more like Theravada way. Okay? So they are Nyantu. They both Nyantu. The Vibhashika and the Strantika, both is the Nyantus, that Theravada monks similar. The last, the Chitamata and Majjhimika are both Mahayana. Mahayana tennis. Mahayana's view. Okay, when we're talking about this tennis, mainly is view and doctrine. So they are Mahayana. They're not takpa chechong the juk bayang the takpa chongi they're not sangi kam thar tuk the patang. Why they? How do you distinguish Mahayana and Hinayana? You know, which means small vehicle and big vehicle. How do you distinguish this? Is a little bit complicated. Okay, I warn you. Because in simple way, we already said that the Vibhashika and the Sautrantika is the like Hinayana, like Theravada way. And then Chitamata and Majjhimika is Mahayana way, like okay, like Chinese Buddhism, Vietnamese, like that. Okay. However, a little bit complicated in here. If you go too precisely, then a little bit difficult. Okay. So say Shimon, okay, what the translation say, how they distinguish. Read and it makes sense.
Nonetheless, individuals designated as being of the Hinayana or the Mahayana are not categorically fixed according to either philosophical system. That is to say, those who have generated within their mind streams the motivation and behavior that leads to the Mahayana path are of the Mahayana. Those who have generated within their mind streams the motivation and behavior that leads to the Hinayana path are of the Hinayana.
Okay, so that they made a kind of a commentary. So in here is not that very clear, okay? But basically saying above we had to categorize, that is like a rough way. And in here you more identify, then okay, somebody say I'm Theravada monk. Okay, I'm not Theravada monk. I'm born in Sri Lanka and Thailand, whatever. I'm doing this and I'm very Theravada monk. But if you have bodhicitta and you understand, you know, Majjhimika view, emptiness, all of them, then you are not really Theravada. You are not a Hinayana. Even you look belong that, but it's not, right? It's that way, isn't it?
Both motivation and behavior.
Yes, but if it's oh, I'm Tibetan Lama, I'm Tibetan Buddhist, oh, I have the highest Zhentong view and blah blah. Even I say that, but if my view is zero understanding Zhentong, and if I have zero bodhicitta and not even trying bodhicitta, not my favor, and then I'm Hinayana. It doesn't matter. I appears like the Mahayana category, their robe, their tradition look like, but it means that, isn't it? Okay. Anything I say different, the commentary, tell me, okay? Okay, 탁신을 마와집샤위 점타 태그만 바다 태그만 점타 탁신 바집 탁와르터인 las. So that means tennis identify you are Hinayana, but the person could be Mahayana. And the tennis you are belong to the Mahayana, but you can be you can be Hinayana. Means that. So if both you don't have any practice, then then you are not even Hinayana, you are not Mahayana, you are just normal human being. Okay? Yeah. Jayang Trimta Takshin Yilla, Lam Tagman the Yuka Yutsi. Trimta Tagman Zin Lam Takshin Yuka Yut. Okay. He's saying, okay, what's saying the next one?
That there's an incredible amount of those who uphold a philosophical system but do not enter onto a spiritual path. However, it is not possible for an individual to enter onto a path without a philosophical system.
He didn't even use the great Mahayana, Hinayana, didn't use those things.
It just says a spiritual path in general, you need a philosophical system.
Yes, this translation is more like politically avoided and controversial vocabularies. Okay?
Watered down.
Yeah. Anika takwachimbang yola anika. Then go further.
The Vaibhashika.
Uh-huh.
The next part is the Vaibhashika.
Oh, okay. Oh, you finish it there. Oh, okay, he's saying Nika Tagman Bang Yut Tramtan Zenjiang Lam de Yuan and Mala. Lam Tagman de Jupang Yola Tramta Tagman Zaman Nika Takshin Bang Yut. Tramta Takshin Zanla Lam Tagman de Jupang Yut. So tennis Mahayana, but your path is at Hinayana, and your tennis holding Hinayana, but your path is like Mahayana, and then Nika Takshin. Both your tennis and your path both is Mahayana, and then both your tennis, your path both is Hinayana. All of them he talking about. And also you have tennis, but you have no path. You're not doing any path. You just have that view. That like Western scholars. I mean, I'm not talking about all Western scholars, okay? But some of Western scholars, they just study and they know these things, they're interested in this, but they don't practice anything. They not even try anything, but they just understand what they're saying, right? And maybe he agree, one of them, and the other not agree. They are no part, but they just, they have tennis. Tennis means I think they have some view, they have some opinion. But here, to me, is a little bit strange because if you have like Mahayana tennis, right? If you understand the emptiness and selflessness, and then you understand the bodhicitta and everything, but still you can practice Theravada way. You practice only self-liberation.
I think maybe they mean conceptually, not embodied.
Yeah, it must be, then must be only, yeah, in your intellectual level, you are agreeing. Let's say somebody say, oh, I agree the Mahayana view, not Theravada view, but you're not trying anything. Must be that. Otherwise, if you are really genuinely, you trying something, then you definitely do whatever you believe, right? You don't do the opposite. Huh? So that's why I say, okay. Okay, so what time is
8:16. So 45 minutes.
okay, maybe leave there, and so now I have any questions. Some questions.
Okay, if anybody has any questions online, you can add them to the Q&A area. We originally planned for this to go potentially up to 4 weeks or so. Rinpoche, we made it just a little bit into the text. It is quite long. So I anticipate this.
Okay, then I can go further if there are no questions. I can go further a little bit. Tela li shaped, and now we're talking about Vibhashika. The Vibhashika is a Hipa same Shongoni. What they in the tennis, their doctrine, what they're talking about is Hipa, the mind. You have two, what to say, how to translate?
The mind and the operation of the mind.
Or mind and operation of mind, okay? They call that, right? So mind means the mean mind, okay? Operation means, let's say, jealous is operation, okay? Jealous or, yeah, is this anything, this the aspect of mind. That means you're not jealous 24/7, right? Okay, sometimes rise. So I'm talking about that. And then then object, there are only 10 categories, right? So then is not mind, not object. Object, or how do you translate?
Yeah, it says object, the 10 objects such as material form and so forth.
Yeah, if it's not material, not mind, then what is still something exists, we call Dhamandapshit. Means, okay, rising, falling, that's called Dhamandapshit. Did they have?
So the non-concurrent factors such as production and destruction, like arising.
Production and destruction.
Yeah, it says
they have name?
and destruction.
Production, destruction, they have name?
That's just what it calls it.
Okay.
Arise and fall.
Yes, arise about.
No. I mean, the name, there is a name. Zuk means material, like the, or 10 importance. Zuk. And Zuk, okay, 10 importance. And then Hipa means the mind. Dhamandapshit means all these things. Or this, you can't, not only that, not only the reproduction and production, not only that, but any actions or many, like even some people categories that like year, month, many things, time, many things. We call Dhamandapshit. Some translated compensational factor or something like that. Non-compensational factor or something like that. Okay, so yeah, that's they're talking about their doctrine, what everything, how they categorize. Okay, they talk about that. And then say Namkasuk Ndumapshi something. So only Ndumapshi, how to spell? How to say, translate the next one?
The 3 types of unconditional phenomena such as space and so forth.
Oh yeah, so that means the other, so forth. The other ones is like a cessation. And there's 2 categories of cessation that talking about. Yeah, we don't need to talk here too much. And it's so, yeah, this is non-conditional, they call Dumapshi. In Tibetan, we translate Dumapshi means uncompounded, probably. Compounded means
come together and formed, right? So the opposite. What do you say? Uncompounded? Okay, yeah, that one. Damandavshit. This one can uncompounded. Oh, no, not Damandavshit, sorry. The space and all these things, they call uncompounded. Okay. Okay. Oh, past, present, future also they believe is substantial. Okay. Then to there is something that truly exists. Why? Because this is the lowest of Buddhism, Buddhist tenets. That's why they believe some things truly exist, not everything. Okay. So Rakpi Ngubornam Ngubo Sogna then met and Dojan. Yertan then truly now. Okay, read that one.
They assert that coarse materials as well as continuous materials are not real.
Yeah.
Then they say that ordinary awareness arises from really established sensible objects and sense faculties, and that the sense faculty of an eye actually perceives images.
So in that sentence you read one, their explaining is true or not true.
They assert that these are true. They assert that the coarse materials as well as continuous materials are not real. But then they say they also
The continuity.
Yeah, the coarse materials and continuous materials are not real.
Huh?
They say they're not real. Continuous materials are not real. Coarse materials are not real.
And then what is real?
But then they say that the sense faculty of an eye actually perceives images. So they say it actually perceives images. Then they also say that ordinary awareness arises from really established sensible objects and sense faculties. So ordinary awareness arises from them.
So all these sentences, anything they identify is true.
They're saying that these are true, these are real. The perception. Ordinary awareness arise, you have really established sense objects like telephone or book, and then and the sense faculties like your eyes. Yeah. And that the eye actually perceives the image. And that's
perceives that's real.
Yeah, to perceive the image.
Yeah, image is not real, but perceives image is real.
Yeah, it says yes.
Okay.
The perceptions.
Okay. So ngupo tang gin so na din metten do chang yer tang ho den trip. So they say basically object and the faculties, sense faculties are real.
It doesn't clarify because in the first statement it says that coarse materials are not real, but then these eye faculty and the sense objects,
sense object and sense
really established, and that's how the eye.
Yeah, say really established means it must be saying real. Okay.
Yes.
And so therefore there is a rise of the consciousness from that. And then say means they're saying when we perceive an object with our eyes, the eyes naked eyes directly perceive object. Yes. The color or shape they perceive, that they're saying that's real. Okay. Yes. But the others don't believe that. Okay. Di natsan kachi sheftak tarmawi tam tab zangar namna and dushi tam chir kachi kinji martak paran dot patang kanzak of dagan ulu takbat mahto or zisme parandos. So one of this Vibhashika inside you have 18 difference, okay? 18. So one of this one called kachi sheftak like Kashmir Vibhashikas. they are the little bit high ones, okay? And then all the compound, everything is momentary and impermanent, okay? Sense of self, the self itself, person, only we how to say imputed is not real. Yeah, how do you say?
Yeah, it says that the best philosophers, such as the Kashmiri adherents of the Vaibhashika, assert that all that is conditional is impermanent and is momentarily disintegrating, and that the individual self does not substantially exist except for being a mere mental imputation.
Yes, imputation, yes. Okay, then another category of Vaibhashika, they don't have translation yet.
Samitiyas.
Samidhiya, Sanskrit.
Yes.
Okay, Samitiyas, they are the worst ones, okay? They dushinam thar jikpi mastaqpayin kachik. So all the compounded phenomena, eventually they are disintegrate, but not every moment. Okay? Kachik jikpa means shir gengi ngubo yang shirik parandola. So then verse next.
So it says, the worst philosophers, such as the Samitiyas, say that even though what is conditional is impermanent because it ultimately disintegrates, that it does not momentarily disintegrate.
And after that?
Consequently, they assert all sorts of material things to be continuous.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Continuous. Martak namgi takpa chik pa rangwa wa chen tendra me kyang shir ngab dak tsam jig zitub down dentro dandos. So even this is self is exist. It's not like non-Buddhists think like self. Non-Buddhists believe like self is permanent, everything they say. The only problem Zhentong had is permanent. Self, supreme self is permanent, everything. Everybody, I say again, everybody means many of these criticize the Zhentong because you are same as this non-Buddhist. Because non-Buddhist, non-Buddhist, they believe that some of non-Buddhists say, oh, this is our self is true. So that's why I'm saying. Then here also saying, even the Vaibhashika, the worst Vaibhashika, they believe something self, but not like substantial, not like the non-Buddhists believe, not that way. Okay, read that.
Though they are not the same as the extremists who designate the egotistic self to be permanent, unitary, and autonomous, they do generally assert that the mere egotistic self is established as real and substantial. Even though they do not actually have a path to freedom because of their perverse view of the self, they have taken refuge in the three jewels and are motivated by the wish to be free. So, through their practices of listening, contemplating, meditating, and ethical behavior, they will eventually have the fortune of attaining liberation.
Yeah. So this, okay, then you can say these very lower Vaibhashikas, how can they have liberation? Because they believe self. But then Taranatha saying, even they believe self, not solid like the non-Buddhists believe.
There's a path out of it.
And then also their motivation, everything, they take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and then their motivation is to liberate. That's why they eventually get liberated. Means they eventually improve. They have a room to improve. Okay. Then the second one, Dordevaranam Gompa Chantang. Tranton son amavi. Startup nam stuchi lugenta Chilen gupandola. Tujang shep trak to shet pa munzano. Shep trak the mavi dor. Oh, shep trak mavana munba devdan. Okay, read that one.
The Vaibhashika assert that the 7 sections of the Abhidharma are discourses of the Buddha, and that much of what is said in the sets of sutras is intended to be of provisional meaning. Therefore, they assert that it is imperative to rely upon the views and practices according to the commentarial tradition as it is understood within the Mahavibhasa treatise.
Okay, this Vibhashikas, these 7 sections and these things, they believe is Buddha's teaching. Okay. The sutras, they don't really believe. Dorde means mostly like Mahayana teaching sutras. So these ones, they don't believe letter. So that's why I think if they don't believe letter, then they say, oh, bodhicitta, blah, blah, these things, oh, not necessarily true. Huh? And this is perversion, or could be that namgi look jenta kilin guparandola. Startrapurnam stuki. Startrapurnam stuki lugujenta. What's the last one?
Therefore, they assert that it is imperative to rely upon the views and practices according to the commentarial tradition as it is understood within the Mahavibhasa treatise.
Oh, okay. This text is not so good. It seems like missing some words and something like that. Basically saying like when you establish in view, you have to interpret it. You cannot literally believe these sutras.
Oh, that's what it said. Oh, the previous sentences, it says that, and that much of what is said in the sets of sutras is intended to be of provisional meaning.
Yeah.
So that means you cannot take literal, right?
Yes. Okay, we leave there. And now if you have some question.
Rinpoche, the only question we have right now is that I think this came up from the section where you were talking about the Mahayana and the Hinayana path, and the intent and action, identifying the person as part of the path. This question is, Vajrayana is said to be the resultant Mahayana, and it shares with causal Mahayana the same twofold purposes. Yet did the tantric yogis of India learn the philosophies and practice conceptual analysis? It is said that Dolpopa wrote the mountain Dharma after he had realization. So what is the purpose of explaining to others the things that would just make them have to juggle and difficultly go through concepts and deny other realizations as provisional or conceptual mental works? I think the question is, there's 2 questions. I think one is around the Vajrayana being the resultant of the Mahayana, and the second one is around basically, if we don't have realization yet, then what is the point of like having been explained this text and what's correct and what's incorrect? That makes sense?
Oh. So the first question, Vajrayana is a result in the vehicle or not, right?
Yes. And so did the yogis in in India, learn the philosophies of conceptual analysis, or did they just do the experiential?
The yogis have experiential or concept, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the Vajrayana is called resulting vehicle is not saying you practice Sutrayana path, then you will get the Vajrayana vehicle you get as a result. Not saying that. It's not means that. Why they call resulting vehicle means during the path your practice is similar of a result. For instance, you visualize the result of the ultimate Buddha, the forms. You visualize that. First, visualize it means conceptually you visualize it that. Not only visualize, you generate your mind that way in conceptual level. But if you can go beyond conceptual level, and also you're doing the same thing, you experience it. So that's why I named that is the resulting is you taken on the path. It doesn't mean 100% result because you haven't got result yet, but it's similar. So that's why the name is that. And then the yogis and everything isn't you achieve yogihood or whatever you call the Mahasiddhahood or whatever. Are you saying that you achieving this have to be experiential? So what is the point to conception or explains what is better or not better, right?
Kind of. The yogis, they're just wondering if they also did conceptual analysis, like of before they did the experience in the Indian tantric system.
Okay.
Mahasiddhas, did the Mahasiddhas have to study conceptually the philosophies and compare them before they in their path?
But you mean the Mahasiddhas did done that before, you mean?
Did they have to?
Oh, that's you can't say yes or no because it in individual. So when we when we explain in these concepts we're explaining why, because everybody got concept. Every human being have got a concept, and you operate with concept. Majority of your life you operate with concept, right? That's why give you education or at least provide a base, whatever you understand, whatever you interpret it, how much you intellectualize. That is like God. It's not this you must believe. It's not that. This is God book. So then you can analyze yourself. That's what we're doing. Because that's necessary because not everybody is non-conceptual level. Not most things in our life we conceptualized. So that's why I give you that. And all the yogis, Mahasiddhas, they done this before the experiential. That you can say yes or you can say no, because you can't say every yoga or every yogis and the Mahasiddhas, they become Mahasiddha yogi, same process. You can't say. Everybody have different, individuals have different process. But at least some conception definitely before yogi, before yogi or before Mahasiddha. You can guarantee some conceptual operations they went through definitely, right? So is that answered?
I think so, because the other half of the question was, what's the purpose of explaining these? Because we may just, if we don't have this experiential, non-conceptual understanding, we just may deny their explanations of things as being, because we can't understand them. So what's the point of us struggling through it was the other one, but I think you kind of got through all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Is that
The
clear? Okay.
The next question, Rinpoche, is what merit must a human collect to gain access to the Zhentong teaching?
What merit what?
Basically, how much merit do we have to gain access to the Zhentong teaching? I'm not sure if they mean the Zhentong practice as in hearing it or experiencing it, but they're wondering how much merit we need to have.
Oh, I can't calculate that. I can't calculate do you need that much merit. I can't calculate this. So obviously you hearing. Anybody hearing, that means you had that merit, so you hearing. But everybody here, it doesn't mean everybody's understanding is the same. Everybody's different understanding. Some people maybe could be less than my planning, can understand it less than my explaining. Some people, as much as I explained, understood. Some people can more understand than my explanation. Could be anything. So that's I cannot calculate. And then through this, you can realization or that is also, that's something I cannot answer. I don't know how to calculate that merit. Just traditional texts sometimes say eons accumulation merit. Without that, you never understand this. And even you have closer to understanding, or even you have some kind of doubt. Doubt means, oh, this Zhentong is maybe superior, this view. Oh, this is more probably, no, I don't understand 100%, but it feels a little bit more makes sense than the others. Even you have that kind of doubt, or what do you call it? Doubting, but is a doubt leading to better path. That kind of doubt, they say, you make samsara very easy to break or something like that. Okay? That's the some sutras say, not I said. Okay?
Here, Rinpoche, that concludes the questions for today's session. Shall we
Okay.
do the dedication together to close this out?
Yeah.
I'd like
Yes.
to remind everybody, this was the first of Rinpoche's commentary on the Zhentong Nyingpo. We put it today because of the parinirvana, but the rest of them are on the weekend. So please check the schedule. It repeats weekly on the weekend at the same time in your time zone. I'm sorry, I can't say the day. It's different for everyone, but check the website.
Yeah. So today is the Taranatha Parinirvana day. So that was obviously is a very important day for us. So we have this, we listen and try to understand it, and I try to explain and as much as I can. So this huge merit we should dedicate everybody's beloved ones, or anybody you know they are suffering, or some challenges, or main object those, but then of course then all sentient beings have any trouble, all these things can eliminate, and everybody's obstacles of the spiritual path can be eliminated. We dedicate that way today very strongly focus to dedicate that. So then is we accomplish a huge merit. Okay. So maybe even understand the next time, even better understanding, and then we have more successful class at the coming classes. Okay.
So we do Rime or Jonang dedications today?
Probably Jono,
Jonang.
because this is Jono Taranatha.
May the Jonang Dharma of the omniscient Dharma King pervade in all places and directions, never declining, but instead spreading and flourishing for all time. through the goodness of the unchanging three jewels and the excellence of the truth of the eternal ultimate, may the activities of the great Lord of the definitive Zhentong Dharma auspiciously spread and flourish. Through the ultimate meaning of the sutras, the Zhentong middle way, and the ultimate meaning of the tantras, the Vajra yogas, may we give rise to the essential points of the path that joins the view with meditation. May we completely clarify all gateways to this profound Dharma. Due to the arrival of the Buddha in this world, the presence of his teachings that clarify like a shining sun, and the flourishing of the authentic lineage holders, may the auspiciousness of the teachings remain for a long time. Om Ah Hung Po, completely surrounded by snow mountains, in the middle of a hub of an 8-petaled lotus, on top of Mount Kailasha, sits the divinely built capital of Shambhala, Kalapa. Between the lakes of Manasarovar and white lotuses, in the middle of the Malaya grove, there abides the enlightened mandala. In all the outer petals of the lotus, there are 96 million cities and so forth. Abiding in that sublime realm of mantra are the Dharma kings and kalpis, the hosts of deities of primordial wisdom, the 96 emanated kings and so forth. To all those worthy ones, I prostrate and go for refuge. By the power of making effort in these virtues, at the time of death, may I be reborn amidst the retinue of the Kalki king in glorious Shambhala, and have the opportunity to accomplish the Kala Chakra Dharma. With these virtues, in reliance upon the profound methods, with the power to destroy the collection of adventitious stains, as well as the channels of the life force and downward voiding winds, may I quickly attain my Buddha nature, the sublime other Kala Chakra. Whoever I meet, may I never, even for an instant, be influenced by those who steal eternal bliss, such as wicked teachers, mistaken spiritual traditions, the messengers of Mara, or negative companions. By the blessings of the authentic victors and their children, whichever roots of virtue exist in samsara and nirvana, and the power of our pure altruistic motivation, may whichever prayers we offer be swiftly accomplished, always meeting with every excellence, always free from every fault. In whichever case, may everything be most excellent, and may all our wishes be accomplished. The sole source giving rise to well-being and happiness, may the Dharma remain for a long time. Great beings who hold this Dharma, may your lives be long and firm. By the sound of this great Dharma drum, may the sufferings of all sentient beings come to an end. By this inconceivable good fortune, may these teachings be established and remain. Through the blessings of the three jewels, the energy and power of their waxing virtues, dearest Root Lama who holds the victor's teachings, may your life be long and may your enlightened activities increase. To the Lama, I pray that you have excellent health. I pray that you may have a supremely long life. I pray that your enlightened activities flourish. Bless me to never be separated from you. In all my lives, may I never be separated from my glory, from my precious Lama. May I always enjoy the practices of the precious Dharma, and after completing all the qualities and of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara, Lord of all the manifold mandalas, pervasive sovereign of all families, Vajradhara. May the lotus of feet of youth, the authentic Root Lama, remain steadfast for a long time, with faith in the inseparability of the Lama and Kala Chakra, by the power of the virtues of going for refuge and making supplications. May I become a child of the Kalki kings of Shambhala and bring magnificent benefit to the teachings and sentient beings. By virtue of these accumulated merits, when I and others pass away in this and all future lives, may I excellently care for the authentic Dharma, and may I be unharmed by whichever adversities arise. By the pristine virtues of both ordinary and noble beings, until the end of time, may we attain the peak of the Buddha's teachings. May we thoroughly increase the benefit and well-being of all beings, and may we enjoy the magnificent stages of the teachings and protect everyone. The great pioneer of the middle way of definitive meaning is the Dharma king of Zhongnam, Dopopa Sherp-Gyaltsen. The learned and accomplished ones who hold his lineage in general are many, but in particular the master of the secret doctrine, the liberating protector, Taranatha. May their teachings blaze for a long time. This place itself a pure realm, in the sky above, within a sphere of rainbow light, on top of a lotus and moon disk, abides the Lama Avalokiteshvara, undefiled by stains, body white in color, his crown ornamented by the perfect Buddhas, looking on beings with the eyes of compassion. I pray to you, Avalokiteshvara. Through the profound aspirations of the Bodhisattva kings of Shambhala,
May we manifest the glory of the second golden age in this world. May all of us Dharma brothers and sisters come to enjoy the good fortune of our courage and commitment. Long life prayer for Khentrul Rinpoche. Great mind of love and wisdom, the most excellent treasury, inexhaustible activities born from the God of gods, richness of Vajra gentleness with supreme aspirations. I pay homage to the protected one with this name. With the immeasurable mind, even more vast than space, advice uncontaminated and distinct like a clear drop. Dearest friend who plays in the inconceivable ocean, I pay to the treasury of perfect well-being and bliss. Precious gem of the enduring bliss of all beings, appearing in the form of a universal monarch. May your life remain steadfast as the unchanging supreme. May your activities be accomplished with the speed of the five lights.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you next time.